and welcome to SIIB's interactive webinar on Agribusiness Management, the next big career path you should know. The session is brought to you by Symbiosis Institute of International Business, Pune, which is a premium B school under Symbiosis International deemed university. We are honored to welcome you all today. SIIB at a glance. SIIB was founded in 1992 as Symbiosis Institute of Foreign Trade, which is SIFT, and today it has evolved and has a global recognition. It is accredited with NAC and A++ merit and is consistently ranked among the top B schools in India. Today's esteemed guest for our webinar is Dr. Sushant Malik. He's the HOD of Agribusiness Department. He's young, energetic, and an accomplished professor with a PhD in economics from the prestigious Gokhale Institute of Politics and Economics, Pune. His expertise lie in agricultural economics, agri-commodity markets, and business analytics. Moving on, here's a quick look at SIIB's journey. 1992, SIIB was established as Symbiosis Institute of Foreign Trade. Further on, in 2001, we expanded into international business. In 2004, we introduced our MBA in Agribusiness program. In 2009, the Energy and Environment program was launched. In 2010, we moved into a modern and a world-class campus. And lastly, in 2004, we transitioned our MBA in Sustainability Management. The timeline reflects SIIB's constant growth and industry relevance. Over the years, SIIB has earned remarkable recognitions. We are ranked among the top 40 B schools in India, and we hold a strong position in Business Today, The Week, and NIRF ranking. Our university SIU accredits NAC and A++ merit. Moving on, here's a quick snapshot of the courses offered here, which are MBA in International Business, MBA in Agribusiness, and MBA in Sustainability Management. Each program is designed to meet the growing global and sectoral demands of the business. Further to deep dive into MBA Agribusiness, MBA Agribusiness program covers subjects such as rural marketing, agri-finance, microfinance, commodity markets, supply chain, export potential, and retail management. It combines business knowledge with sector-specific insights to prepare our future leaders. Moving on to the facts and figures. Our placement records are one of the strongest highlights. MBA in Agribusiness program has achieved a highest package of 21.6 LPA. The average package is 12.6 LPA and the median package is 11 LPA. The summer internships also provide a strong industry exposure with stipends going up to 77,000. Here are some of our distinguished alumni from the Agribusiness department. Our alumni are making us proud globally, be it Bayers, PepsiCo, LinkedIn, Nika, or even the World Bank. SIIB Agri graduates are leaving their mark everywhere. Here are the prominent recruiters that we proudly have in our campus. The list is too long, stating the few are ITC, EY, ADM, and etc. Apart from classroom learnings, SIIB strongly believes in a holistic development. So here are our core committees which are responsible for various activities that the college has. Firstly, there's the corporate relations, which oversees the placement. Secondly, we have the public relations and the media committee. Third, we have the alumni relations committee. And lastly, the admissions committee, the one who is hosting this webinar today. Apart from the main core committees, we have other committees, which is Sparsh committee, which is the student activity club, the ISR committee, which is Shiptich, sports committee, which is responsible for organizing all the sports events, and lastly, the E-cell, which is the entrepreneurship cell. These are the other academic clubs that the college has, which ensures that the gap is bridged between proper education and industry exposure. Here is the snapshot of the events at SIIB. This shows how lively and energetic the campus is throughout the year and how the students are growing every day bit by bit. Deep diving into the Agribusiness Club, which is the Agrobiz. It is a student driven platform that organizes events, presentations, and discussions to enrich learning and industry exposure. Moving on, this is the Agri Summit. It is an annual event organized by the Agrobiz Club to bridge the gap between academics and industry. Various leaders come to our college to guide the students. In our Agri Summit, it's not just SIIB students participating, but there are students participating from all over the nation. This ensures overall dynamic growth. Students are encouraged to participate in case competitions, and some of the achievements are follows. These are the winners of the case competitions. Mr. Udhav Pradhan, a second year student of batch 2024-26, uh, who has secured second position in a case competition at IIM Lucknow. We have other notable achievements also, which are Anirudh Chaugule, Kriti Kant, Sarvapreet Singh, which shows how holistic development is promoted at this college. Moving on, to ensure global perspectives and industry readiness, SIIB has established strong academic and industry collaborations with reputed universities and corporate leaders. SIIB partners with global universities in Germany, UK, and US, giving student exchange opportunities and international exposure. SIIB collaborates with leading industries for projects, case competitions, and this ensures students learn directly from corporate challenges. Here is a snapshot of all the guest lectures that we have throughout our academic year. Here it shows how well the holistic development is promoted. We have teachers coming from University of Houston, Leeds Beckett, and others to guide our students and bring that global perspectives into our classrooms. Here are some big concepts. SIIB believes in moving beyond textbooks. We focus on practical learning that prepares students for the realities of business. There are case studies, simulations, value-based courses, and others which are organized from time to time to ensure that students are well equipped for the industry. We do not only believe in classrooms, but we also have alumni coming from the industry giving us real perspectives. So this is the alumni engagements that we have throughout the year where we get the real world experience. Our campus is a world-class campus. It has Wi-Fi enabled, it has a collection of books, a knowledge center, IT lab, auditorium, gym and swimming pool, and a world-class and well-maintained sports facility, a holistic environment for study and growth. So deep diving into agribusiness management, I would like to hand it over to Sushant sir.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Pratiksha. Okay,
Sure.
so maybe you can go to the next slide.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, so welcome aspirants. We are here to understand that whether going in for a MBA in agribusiness management is worth or not, where the future lies, what are the growth prospects, what are the career prospects, and so on. So we'll start with concrete numbers first. Uh, though we have heard from many political leaders or in our classrooms that agriculture is the backbone of the Indian economy, but sometimes the numbers might not say so. So though we see that 42%, approximately 42%, according to the recent survey of the population is dependent on agriculture, and it has a share of recently, the share is around 16%. But the 16% share comes from directly from crop production, livestock production, dairy, aquaculture, and so on. if you indirectly see where what is the scope of agribusiness, it encompasses the agri input sector, it encompasses the agri tech sector, it encompasses agri finance sector, and combine, if you will see, the GDP percentage of agribusiness directly or indirectly is around 40 to 50%. So half of the economy is related to, somewhat related to agriculture and agribusiness in a broader sense. We cannot say agriculture. Agriculture is only 16%, but agribusiness, it's more than that. It's around 40 to 50%. Now, understand agribusiness. So, in the next slide, it'll cover what agribusiness is, but agribusiness helps bridge the gap between what the farm sector and consumers need, right? And agribusiness has five subsystems starting from input. So, this is like a value chain. You start from input, input goes to production, from production, it's post harvest has to be marketed, and everything has to be supported by some services like agri extension, agri finance, and so on. Now, can you go to the next slide, Pratiksha? Now, the problem in India is that 85% of our land holdings are small and marginal. Or if I would like to quantify it, less than 1 or 2 acres of land. So you can imagine a farmer doing farming on 1 or 2 acres of land. He or she is not able to use high-tech machinery, right? Because it does not satisfy his economies of scale. He cannot use technologies and so on, right? Also, the primary processing or secondary processing of produce is not possible because the scale of production is less. Someone has to procure a lot of quantity from a lot of farmers in order to process it, right? And we see, even despite of these challenges, that 85% of the farmers are small and marginal, agriculture sector in itself has been very robust. So if you see the numbers just after COVID or during the COVID, it was only the agriculture sector which showed positive growth and not all the other sectors. That is the strength. That is why we say this is the backbone of the Indian economy. Though, so agriculture sector has been growing consistently from 3 to 4% every year. But again, the problem lies farmers are small and marginal, no economies of scale, cannot use a lot of machinery and so on. And here is the case where technology helps. So currently, AgTech as a domain is evolving, getting integrated in attaching input to production, right? How can we produce efficiently? Attaching production to processing. How can we procure efficiently, process it efficiently, and is also supported by subsystems like marketing and support services, use of technology in managing farms, use of technology in managing accounts, use of technology in reaching it to the right markets and so on. And it is predicted that by 2025, agtech industry in itself will be $204 billion. Now, of course, when we think of $204 billion, we are not able to relate it. But currently, the entire logistics supply chain, which includes warehouse, logistics, storage, etc., entire industry in India is $204 billion, right? So agtech by 2025 is going to become as big as that. One is that. Now, why do we need agtech? Let's understand that in the next slide. Now, if you will see the graphs towards the right, so the x-axis represents five different crops, right? From sugarcane, maize, rice, wheat, soya bean, and cotton. And the blue bar is the bar for India. The green is the average, and the other colors are for US, Brazil, and China. You will see in almost all the graphs, the last one is the blue one, right? That means, though we understand, we all know, we I think most of you must be somewhat related to agribusiness and agriculture. You must be knowing that yes, India is known as the food basket of the world. We are number one in production of many commodities, but still, when it comes to yield, we lag behind a lot, right? So we are not able to get the same yield, the similar yield as compared to other companies, or as compared to even global average from our farms. And again, there is where the technology helps. Technology is specifically related to GIS, precision farming, AI, and so on. This is where it helps. Can we go to the next slide? And see, understand when agtech will be attached to when agtech will be attached to the production subsystems of agriculture. We're already number two, number one, number two in livestock production, number two in vegetables, number one in milk production. And once the agtech is attached, we increase our production, we increase our productivity, we increase the yield. Where does the growth lies? Where do we send this produce to, right? And it's exports. Currently also exports in many sectors, many advanced sectors like cashew, etc. is rising. And this is one of the sector which is expected to grow, which is agri exports. Can we go next? Right? One more reason to understand agribusiness and understand various subsystems of it, right? And specifically the after the production, the processing subsystems, consumers on the demand side. So currently we were talking entirely on the supply side, what is happening on with the farmers, with the yield, with the production, and so on. If we see on the so we definitely know the supply is going to increase. But what happens on the demand side? Are consumers willing to pay more? Are consumers demanding more? The answer is yes. The different studies by Hindustan Unilever, Godrej, Spice Board of India reflect that future lies in high priced value added products. Consumers are demanding more and more value added high priced products. So every demography, every economy works according to, so one there is one theory called as the theory of demographic transition. uh, every economy starts with high death rate, high birth rate. Then initially there is education, there are good medical facilities, the death rates start declining, birth rate keeps on growing. Finally it comes a situation where is low death rate, low birth rate, and so on, which is relatable to the developed world, right? And when we go throughout this transition, the food habits also change. Every economy starts with coarse the consumption of coarse grains, coarse cereals, and so on. Later they start consuming more fruits and vegetables alongside grains, then dairy alongside foods and grains, adding to pulses and so on. And later the basket becomes very diverse, and we can see that we are moving towards that, right? So our basket is becoming more and more diverse. Consumers are demanding more and more value added products and so on. So even on the supply side, we are seeing a growth. Similarly, on the demand side, consumers are willing to pay more for the more supply that we have. But we need agricultural graduates to meet this supply and demand, to set up entrepreneurship ventures in processing of this agricultural produce, in setting up and entrepreneurial ventures in having innovative technologies to procure this produce from millions of small and marginal farmers and so on. Right? Can we go next? Now, as we see, so I initially mentioned that one of the problem is that farmers are small and marginal, they do not have scale. And the Indian government is also trying to solve this problem by strengthening small and marginal farmers so that they can register themselves as a farmer producer company, right? A farmer producer company is a kind of or is a type of farmer producer organizations where a group of farmer can together register themselves as a company. Now, understand, if farmers together, let's say 400 farmers, 200 farmers come together and register themselves as a company, it brings economies of scale. They can buy inputs at a cheaper rate, right? Because together they're doing a bulk purchase of input. They can procure their produce, sell it directly to the companies, right? And this is where the growth lies. Why? Because ITC today is procuring from many small farmers. Tomorrow they will only have to deal with a few FPOs. It reduces the cost in which is being spent in the middle of the value chain on multiple actors. So it removes those actors, and it brings economies of scale for farmers in terms of buying input, marketing of produce, buying technologies, and so on. And that is why the agtech industry is also expected to grow it's expected to grow exponentially. Can we go next? Now, finally, what are the benefits of doing an MBA in agribusiness management? First of all, MBA in agribusiness management, specifically from SIIB, focuses, because we are an IB school. We are an IB school first. an IB school which offers MBA in IB, MBA in agribusiness, MBA in sustainability management. So we focus on global agri trade dynamics alongside Indian rural and agri market realities. So you get to study subjects like agri export and import management, export potential analysis of many crops and commodities at specifically at SIIB, and after doing an MBA in agribusiness management, the career options that you might get are diverse. So we have agri input companies visiting us, input as in seed, fertilizer, agri machinery, and so on. We have supply chain management roles. We have roles in microfinance with microfinance companies and agri-finance with agri-finance, specifically with banks. We have consultancies like Grant Thornton, EY visiting us for agri consultancy and policy analysis. And the roles are even diverse than this. We have agri commodity firms as well, right? Which are dealing in procurement of commodities. We have agri commodity firms which are doing future trade, options trade, and so on. So the future options are really diverse. Of course, as a B school, we have entrepreneurial initiatives, e-cell, and so on. So we encourage entrepreneurial ventures in agri startups. You also saw in one of the slide that one of our alum is the CEO of Agri Vijay. It's an agri sustainability startup, and recently it got a funding, a good amount of funding as well. So we encourage startups in specifically agri startups, value added products, startups of value added products, e-commerce platform. So AgriVijay is an agri sustainability e-commerce platform. And the other supply chain solutions, we also consult organizations, as in we provide them training. So, for example, recently we are conducting a training for Dehat in how they can export their products. We provide insights into agriculture value chain, end-to-end value chain, from production, marketing, export, and technology integration. Now, there are also some of the contemporary issues in agribusiness, for example, climate change and carbon markets, digital agriculture and AI applications, growing importance of sustainable packaging and traceability and exports. And I'm very happy to tell you that SIIB also follows curriculum according to NEP 2020. So, though you are studying MBA in agribusiness management, but you get to study a course on ESG. You get to study a course on climate change and agriculture, how carbon trading can be done with respect to agriculture. Recently we introduced a course on digital agriculture, again because this has become a contemporary issue in agribusiness. We also have a course on processing and value addition in agriculture, which talks about sustainable packaging, traceability, and so on. And of course, whichever are the emerging areas like agri fintech, food tech, ESG consulting, supply chain analytics, the basic of all the basic course that we offer from the agribusiness module, we cover those concepts there. Now, and how can we compare an MBA in agribusiness management versus an MBA in journal management? Understand, first of all, the future lies in specialization. Recruiters currently are not recruiting students who are studying generic subjects, but they want students who are doing something, who are expertising in something, right? So if we compare a journal MBA covers modules on marketing, finance, HR, IT, operations, business analytics, and so on. So you can study some basic subjects, offer and have a specialization in marketing, finance, human resources, so on. But when we see our program structure, the program structure of MBA in Agribusiness Management, specifically at SIIB, so we have two kind of modules. First of all, we have a base module which covers the basics of marketing, supply chain, accountancy, finance, basics of economics, and so on. Also, we have in all the 4 semesters, we have subjects that are specialized towards agribusiness, right? And which integrate concepts of finance, marketing, operations, data analytics specifically with agribusiness. So you earlier saw some of the subjects. So you will also study basics of financial management. Alongside that, you will study microfinance, agri finance, how commodity derivatives are traded. That will be covered. For example, you're studying supply chain, the basics of supply chain, you get to do that using Coursera. You will study agri supply chain. You will study retail distributions and logistics. You will study processing and value chain in agriculture and so on. You will study basics of marketing, then you will cover agri retail marketing, how services are marketed in agriculture, and so on. So you have a module which covers the basics. Alongside that, you have Swayam Coursera, because we have also enrolled. So it's a paid service, as in we pay Coursera so that you can do unlimited certifications, right? So you can cover all the base module from our basic subjects, Coursera, and alongside that, the agribusiness module covers, integrates all the basics with specialized subjects in agribusiness. So I think we are done with the insights on the MBA in agribusiness program and why you should opt for agribusiness. So Pratiksha, you can take it over from here, and in the end, maybe we will also go for a Q&A.
Sure, sir. Thank you. I think our all our aspirants are very excited. After listening to you, I'm very sure that they are very encouraged to enroll into this program because it is such a holistic program to be in. So, moving on to our next stage, which is about SNAP, which is a national level MBA entrance exam by the Symbiosis International University SIU. It is the only gateway to enter SIIB, which is conducted once a year, which you will get 3 attempts to go for, and the best score will be taken as the final score. The selection process goes as SNAP, GEPI, and then admission to SIIB. Your MBA journey at SIIB begins with SNAP. So, moving on to the test structure, which is divided into 3 parts. First is the quantitative, data interpretation, and data sufficiency. Second is the general English, reading comprehension, verbal reasoning, and verbal ability. And lastly, you have analytical and logical reasoning. Here is the marking scheme for SNAP. Every correct answer, you get a +1. For every wrong answer, 0.25 marks are deducted. There is no sectional time limit, which is the one advantage that we have in SNAP. The duration is 1 hour, which shows that it is a speed-based exam. There is no negative marking for unattempted questions, and the total marks or the maximum marks that you get are 60. Here, we believe that our students have to be equipped with the strategies that help us crack SNAP, and so that will help you. So, know the exam, understand the SNAP patterns and the weightage. Smart practice, mock tests, and past papers, which will help improve your speed and accuracy. Time management is the key here, 60 minutes. Attempt wisely, avoid guesswork. Sectional balance. Although there is no sectional time limit, but it has to be balanced properly in order to get a maximum score. Therefore, focus on all 3 areas. Do not focus on your weak areas. Have a strategy for your strong ones. Revision. Revision is the best thing that helps you get that small edge. So revise formulas, vocab, and reasoning tricks. Lastly, stay calm, manage stress, and stay confident on the exam day. Here are the SNAP important dates for your reference. You can kindly go through that. The same has been updated on our official websites as well. Lastly, Crack It with SIIB is an initiative that we as admissions committee drive. It is the initiative which provides mock test, SNAP preparations, alumni interactions, personalized guidance to help students excel in SNAP. This is how we bridge your journey from an aspirant to an grad to an admit in SIIB. Now we have the floor open for the Q&A session. I request our aspirants to ask as many questions as you have, and we are happy to answer.
Even if you have basic doubts, you can definitely ask. So I think in the chat box, Preet has asked, is agribusiness management a growing career in India? See, Preet, with the advent of, I would say, with government pushing towards bringing agriculture in the ambit of, see, there are 85% small and marginal farmers in India, right? If a farmer is small and marginal, that means he does not have a good credit score, right? To bridge that, we have microfinance. He has a small land size. To bridge that, we have FPOs. Once farmers get into FPOs, companies will directly deal with FPOs. It increases the economic remuneration which farmers get. Alongside that, companies also get to save a lot of costs, right? So with the recent advancements that are being done in the field of technology, farmer collectivization, focus on agri exports, focus on value addition, and agri finance. When we say agri finance, covering microfinance, agricultural finance, commodity derivatives, with the advent of NCDX and so on, considering all this, definitely yes, MBA in agribusiness is definitely a growing field in India. With respect to the numbers of admissions that we get, yes, the number of aspirants that get admitted to our organization at SIIB, it has also grown at a very decent scale. So yes, ME in agribusiness management is definitely a growing and booming field in India, right? So the second question is, what background suits the AB specialization best, right? Uh, so understand that it's not the case that we only have BSc in BSc agriculture students as our pool of students, right? We also have students who have done economic honors. We have students who have done BCom. We have students who have done BTech in food technology. We have students who have done general BTech. We have students who have done BBA in agribusiness, journal BBA, alongside BA, BSc in agriculture. Now, I'm not saying all the and if you will see, you can go and check it on LinkedIn that all the students are placed into very decent companies. The only thing is, if you're a BSc agriculture graduate, you get 10 or 15 or 20% advantage with respect to a agri input firm working in fertilizers and seeds, just that. So you get 15, 20, 30% edge there. But when it comes to agri finance, when it comes to consulting, when it comes to agri marketing, agri supply chain firms, for them, all the specialization students are equal for them, right? So it's not the case which specialization suits MBA in agribusiness. It's more of, are you passionate about this sector or not? Right. So if you're passionate about this sector, definitely we offer so many options that you will be able to find your niche. Right. So it's not the answer that which specialization, which undergraduate specialization will suit this sector the best. I I don't think so that it is restricted to any particular specialization. It's more like, are you passionate about this sector? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, your specialization is suited. Right? Harsh has asked that, is this too niche of a field to pursue MBA in? Harsh, my answer would be that if I see my pool of students and where do they get placed, right? I have MBA agribusiness students who are working in Valency, Vietnam. I have MBA in agribusiness students who are working in conglomerate. So Khinji Ramdas is like a conglomerate. Like we have Tatas in India, it's Khinji Ramdas in Oman. I have people working there. We have people working in EY. We have students in MBA in agribusiness working in Grant Thornton. So when companies are not thinking that this program is niche, right? I have students who are working in SAP profile, ERP, managing ERP in Infosys, right? So if companies do not think that this program is very niche, what is the, I would say, why you are giving a second thought on this? So the next question is, Sahil has asked that how does agribusiness management differs from a traditional MBA? Sahil, I would first suggest you to have a look at our program structure and the courses that we offer. I also covered this in my presentation that our course structure is a mix of basic management module. So in the first and the second year, even some subjects in the first second semester and in the third semester, we cover some basic subjects that build your basic MBA knowledge. For example, we cover basics of marketing, basics of supply chain, economics, business analytics, organizational behavior, financial management, accountancy, right? So a person who is learning this in some other B school doing a traditional MBA, you get to learn all of that. So you're not missing on that part. Alongside that, when so those students cover that basic module, opt for one of the specialization, but we have designed the course structure in such a way that you're able to cover the basic module, as well as from the first semester itself you start with the agribusiness specialization module as well. Also, I would like to answer one of the earlier question, that is it too niche of a field to pursue in, as well as which specialization is best suited for it. So let's say you are from an economics background or BBA background and so on. So in the first semester itself, we have integrated some subjects to bridge that gap. For example, in the first semester, you get to study a subject on introduction to agriculture. We cover all the basics that are required to bridge the gap between a BSc agriculture graduate versus an economics graduate, right? And that has been the reason that we are able to, even an economics graduate is able to grab a placement at Tolaram in Nigeria, right? So the next is, by choosing ABM over MBA, does aren't we narrowing our career aspects in future? Okay. So first of all, Harsh, I told you that initially I started with the point that if you will see, around 50% of the GDP comes from agribusiness and allied sectors, right? Now let's say you are, so this because I have seen last 8 batches, right? So I have seen where does those 8 into 60 to 65 students get placed, what are they doing right now, and so on, right? So I have had students who started their career with microfinance company, right? Of course, when you work in a microfinance company, you get to it's like a bank. It's like a bank who provides finance to rural poor, right? And they have, if I have alumni who have worked in microfinance sector, stayed there, become the CEO. I have also had an alumni, they have worked in microfinance, got their next job in some payment portal company, got their next job in PwC, right? So it's more about the skills that you will be getting, and as an agribusiness graduate, right? The career opportunities that we will be providing it to you. So for example, you might get placed in SAP in Infosys, right? You might get placed in an agri input firm. Ultimately, what you will be doing there, you will be marketing agri inputs, right? So transitioning from an agri input to, let's say, agri machinery to a automobile company, it's not difficult, right? You saw, we shared a slide on our alumni. One of our alumni is a senior accounts director at LinkedIn, right? So he is an alumni, I think, from the 2013-14 batch, right? So if he was able to, with the skill sets that we provided him, he was able to diversify his portfolio. Any student can, right? But yes, if your passion does not lies in agribusiness, then of course you will find it difficult to complete the course, right? Complete the course, or let's say be interested in the course and so on. Now, next question Preet has asked, what skill certifications courses are required to get a job role in agri commodity trading firm? So, Preet, understand commodity trading happens in the spot market as well. For example, you can procure commodities from from the live market, right? From APMCs and so on. This course will provide you skills for that, right? General skills that are provide and also I'll like to complete the first statement first, and then I'll come to the second part. Also, trading happens in the futures market, right? So there we integrate concepts of futures and options. So we have a series of courses covering from the first, second, and third semester for this, right? So we will teach you basic agri marketing, how it is done. It will cover the role of spot markets and so on. In the second semester, you'll have a specialized module on that, as well as you will cover agri commodity markets course in the second semester, which is aligned to a course on NCDX. So you get to learn how commodities are traded in spot market, how commodities are traded in futures market, how commodities are traded in options market, and so on. If you want to ask how in general I should learn agri commodity trading, maybe you can do courses from NICR. NICR is a educational division of NCDEX, right? So they have a lot of courses on agri commodity trading in futures and options market. So you can definitely do a course from there. Is it fine for freshers to join agribusiness MBA? Sanskriti, if we see our pool, in our pool, most of the students are freshers for MBA in agribusiness. Not This is not the case for MBA in international business. For MBA in international business, we do have quite a decent percentage of students who are experienced. But specifically for MBA in agribusiness, our pool of students is mostly of freshers. So yes, it is definitely fine and perfect for freshers to join MBA in agribusiness. So the next question is Ajinkya has asked, if I get SIIB through Snap, then how will be the interview round going? Okay. So Pratiksha, maybe you can tell your experience in this case.
Sure, sir. So the interview process across all these specializations is same. First, after the snap, you get a final score. After that, you appear for your GE round, which is the group discussion, and after that, you are shortlisted for the interview, which is I might say a little challenging because they're actually testing you if you're actually capable of being here or not. It is not very difficult. All you have to do is be very natural, be very willing to learn, and that is how SIIB recognizes talent and gets you admitted here.
Okay, so let's take the next one. So Manvi has asked, as someone with a master's in agronomy, how does this program help me transition from a technical research role to a leadership management positions in agribusiness? So, Manvi, as I have mentioned, right? Also adding to that, we have had a lot of students who do their masters in agronomy, in agri, MSc agri, right? We have had MSc geography students, right, and even MSc botany students in past, right? And understand that this course, you will be a more natural candidate for this course. Why? Because you know the nuances, the basics of agriculture and agronomy, and then you are relating it to the entire value chain in terms of how inputs are used, how production subsystems work, how marketing can be done, and you already know this kind of value chain. So integrating that with agri marketing, agri, let's say support services in terms of agri tech, agri finance, agri credit, and so on will be more natural for you as compared to someone who has done only a BBA in economics. So it will be much more easier for you to transition in this role alongside the subjects of basic MBA and agribusiness specialization that we cover. So Satvik, unfortunately, we cannot cover the placement statistics for SIBM Bangalore, right? But definitely, we have already shared the placement statistics for SIIB. Each of the institutes work independently on their placement report, placement cycle, placement efforts, and so on. But for SIIB, what I can assure you is that yes, uh, our placement numbers, the recruiters that we have mentioned, can be easily verified. Our alumni batch is quite visible on LinkedIn. You can search any one of them and verify the placement companies that we have mentioned, statistics, and so on. Yes, so thank you. Pratim has already answered this. Webinar is for SIB, not for SIBM. Is the program more technical or more managerial? So I would my answer would be it's more and more of managerial, very less technical. But yes, technical in terms of you will be taught digital agriculture, you will be taught business analytics, you will be taught basic statistics, right, which will help you survive in the management world. So technical in that sense, but not technical so we are not going to teach you core agriculture, right? We expect from BSc agriculture students, we expect that they already know. For other students, we have bridge courses, introduction to agriculture, advances in agriculture. If you have that basic knowledge, it's not going to be more technical as as compared to an MSc in agriculture or BSc in agriculture. Just do those two subjects. If you're able to cover it, not more technical than that.
So we have a very interesting question on our
Yes.
Telegram group, which is how
Yes.
important is financial knowledge in EB?
Okay. So, understand that first of all, on the supply, let's see let's see what kind of recruiters do we had with respect to finance. So we have all the prominent banks visiting us. We also have microfinance companies visiting us, right? So if we say prominent banks, Federal Bank is one of our recruiter, IDFC First Bank is one of the recruiter, and they directly give branch manager or above than that role, right? We have microfinance institutions like Avanti, Midland, and Samunati, right? Samasta visiting us, right? So finance and also we have agri commodity trading firms trading in the in the futures market, setting up basic infrastructure for trade and so on. So with respect to finance, the ambit of placements is this, right? So Pratiksha, what was the question? Can you repeat that, please?
So it was how important is financial knowledge in EB?
Okay, perfect. So we do not expect you to have the knowledge before the course, but yes, in the course we will cover courses on basic financial management, right? Agri-finance, microfinance, uh, agricultural commodity derivatives, and so on. Why? Because I've told you that this is the set of recruiters that visit agribusiness every year. So yes, I would say 1/5 of the module is related to agri-finance. So I have a question from Manvi. Does SIIB provides access to a startup incubation center or accelerator where students can test and develop their agribusiness ideas or help in starting their startups? Right. So Manvi, we have a two-tier system. At the level of SIIB, we have our entrepreneurship cell, right? If you are interested in let's say building up a startup idea at the university level, we have Symbiosis Center for I think the full form is Entrepreneurship and Innovation, SCEI, right? And trust me, we have had startups in past in which Symbiosis has incubated those startups, invested in those startups, and Symbiosis have taken out their money from their startups, which amounts to thousands of crores, right? So we have in past, so is one of the startup is EaseBuzz payment system, right? And it was incubated at Symbiosis. So there are many such startups which have been incubated at Symbiosis, but incubation happens at the university level. If you're interested in doing that, our e-cell at the institution level will definitely connect you at the university level where there are many startups that have gone miles and bound. How important is supply chain management for agri students? So as I referred it for agri finance, I would say you can divide these modules into 1/5 each. We have module on agri finance, agri supply chain management, agri marketing, right? And allied modules as well. So allied modules covering agri tech, ESG, core banking, and so on, right? So 3/4 of the course. So 1/5 is, of course, the basic management module. 1/5 is agri finance, agri marketing, agri supply chain, and another 1/5 goes in allied subjects like sustainability, agri tech, digital agriculture, and so on. So Abhinay has asked what roles are available for AB graduates. So as we have already mentioned this, our students get managerial roles directly in agri input firms. We have had consulting roles in big fours as well as in IT companies like Infosys, etc. We also have roles related to agri-finance in commodity derivative firms, in microfinance, in core banks, and so on. We also have roles related to agri marketing in FMCG, even in international FMCG. So in last 2 or 3 batches, our students, agribusiness students, I'm talking about specifically about agribusiness students, have gone to Valency, Vietnam, have gone to Tolaram, Nigeria, have gone to Kimji Ramdas in Oman, and so on. Right? The recent for this year's batch, the recent international placement was in Kimji Ramdas, Oman, right? And we also have roles related to supply chain management, again, regarding, let's say, basic from basic commodity procurement to even supply chain management technology and analytics. So, Pratiksha, are there any other questions on the Telegram group?
No, sir. I think it's time for us to wrap up this
Okay,
meeting.
great, great.
Okay, so just let me do my closing remarks. As we conclude, I would like to thank you, sir, for hosting this amazing and informative webinar for us. Thank you, all of you, for joining in and being such an active participant. To know more about SIIB and its program, please visit www.siib.ac.in. You can also scan the QR codes which are on your screen right now to join our official WhatsApp and Telegram groups, where we are happy to answer all the questions that you have. We look forward to welcoming you at SIIP and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
So, thank you, Pratiksha, for a very smooth, confident, and a well-structured presentation. And thank you so much, aspirants. Hope to see you at SIIV soon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.